Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something, well, pretty fundamental for any business trying to grow. It's the relationship between branding, building your reputation, getting recognized, and performance marketing.
Right. Those campaigns designed for immediate results, the clicks, the sales,
Yeah.
the trackable stuff.
Exactly. And it's so easy, isn't it, to get laser focused on those performance numbers because they're right there.
You can measure them instantly.
Yeah. But our mission today really is to dig into why both are crucial, branding and performance, how they actually work together.
Because ignoring the branding part while you chase those quick performance wins.
It's like putting up fancy wallpaper before you've even built the walls.
Yeah.
Like building a house without laying the foundation first.
That's a great way to put it. And it explains why performance marketing often gets, the lion's share of attention.
Right.
Those immediate metrics, the clicks, the conversions we mentioned, they feel very tangible. You see progress, or what looks like progress, right away.
Yeah, performance marketing feels like you're getting instant feedback. You tweak an ad, maybe change the headline.
And you see the numbers shift.
Exactly. There's that direct cause and effect thing, which is, let's face it, really appealing. Instant gratification.
Totally. Whereas branding, well, it can feel like a much slower, maybe less direct path. It's about shaping how people feel about you, building trust, creating that sense of familiarity over time.
The payoff isn't always, immediately obvious like a sale is.
Right. So it can feel less urgent, but, and this is the key thing, it's often the very element that makes those immediate conversions even possible in the first place.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting, I think. Let's imagine you've created the absolute perfect performance ad.
Okay.
Targeting is spot on, the copy is amazing, the offer is just incredible. But what if the brand behind it is completely unknown?
Yeah, or worse, maybe has a slightly negative perception or just zero perception.
Right. An unfamiliar brand or one people don't trust. That's a massive hurdle, isn't it?
Huge. Even the best offer might just get met with skepticism. Like, who is this?
People might just scroll right past. Or they hesitate, they don't click because there's no underlying confidence. Who am I dealing with here?
Exactly. And in those cases, even the most brilliantly executed performance marketing campaign is kind of pushing water uphill.
Yeah.
Branding is that silent partner, that support system. It makes all your performance stuff work so much better.
Okay, let's make this super concrete. Think about this scenario. You're online, maybe looking for a new credit card.
Okay.
And you see two Google ads right next to each other. They look identical, same offer.
Yeah.
£100 cash back if you sign up.
Sounds good. But let's say one ad is clearly from American Express, big name, everyone's heard of them.
Right, established brand. You have some feeling about them already, good or bad.
And the other ad, let's make one up, say it's from Pay Now Credit.
I Now Credit, never heard of them, ever.
Right. So think about it for yourself, listening right now. Which ad are you more likely to click instinctively?
Even though the offer is exactly the same, £100 cash back, which one feels, safer, more legit?
I think we both know the answer. The vast majority of people would lean towards the Amex ad.
Yeah, I definitely would.
And the crucial thing here isn't that the Amex offer is better. It's not. It's the brand.
It's all the work they've done over years.
Exactly. Building familiarity, building reputation, establishing trust. All that branding effort pays off in that moment. There's actually a term for it, cognitive fluency.
Cognitive fluency. Okay.
Yeah, our brains just naturally prefer things that feel familiar, that are easier to process. We trust what we know, even slightly.
Wow, okay. So that pre-existing brand recognition, it's not just nice. It actually lowers the mental effort needed to engage.
Precisely. It smooths the path. Without that foundation, that feeling of, oh yeah, I know them. Even a great performance ad can feel a bit cold, maybe even intrusive.
Like an unwelcome knock at the door?
Kind of, yeah.
Oh.
And this ties into something really important about how markets work. There's this statistic you hear a lot, that only about 3% of your potential market is actually ready to buy, like right now, at any given moment.
Only 3%. That's tiny.
It really is. It puts things in perspective, doesn't it?
It does. So if your whole marketing strategy is just those direct buy now performance campaign,
you're basically only talking to that very small group who are already actively looking. You're fishing in a pretty small pond.
Okay, but what about the other 97%?
Exactly. They might not need what you offer today or this week or even this month, but, life changes, needs evolve.
And eventually they will enter that 3% window.
Right. And that's where the long game of branding comes in. It's about building awareness, creating positive feelings, staying top of mind with that huge majority before they're ready to buy.
So branding is like planting seeds with the 97%.
That's a perfect analogy.
You're not expecting an immediate harvest, but you're nurturing the ground so that when they are ready.
Your brand is the one they think of, the one they recognize, the one they already feel some connection to.
And then your performance marketing can swoop in and like harvest that crop, capture the demand you helped create.
It's a beautiful synergy when it works properly.
It really is.
And, people have actually studied this balance. Researchers like Binet and Field have looked into the optimal mix, the best way to split your resources between brand building and performance stuff.
Oh, interesting. What did they find? What's the magic ratio?
Well, their research points towards something like a 60-40 split, generally speaking.
60-40.
Yeah.
Okay, which way around?
Roughly 60% of your effort, your budget, should ideally go towards long-term brand building.
60% on brand. Wow.
And the remaining 40% on performance marketing, sales activation, that sort of thing.
That feels backwards compared to what a lot of businesses actually do, doesn't it?
It often is, yeah. I suspect many companies have it the other way around, maybe even more skewed, like 80% performance, 20% brand.
Or even less on brand. Sometimes treated as just fluffy stuff you do if there's budget left over.
Right. But that kind of imbalance, focusing so heavily on performance, can actually lead to diminishing returns over time.
How so?
Well, you might see your conversion rates start to plateau or even drop. Your cost per acquisition, how much it costs to get a new customer, can creep up and up.
Because you're constantly having to convince people from scratch, people who have no idea who you are.
Exactly. There's no pre-existing trust or awareness to build on. You're always starting from zero.
It brings us back to that foundation idea, or maybe like an engine.
Yeah, that works too. Branding is maybe the engine, building the power potential over time.
And performance marketing is the fuel you put in to get going right now.
Right. You can keep pouring in fuel, but if the engine itself isn't strong, well-maintained,
you won't get very far, or it'll be really inefficient. The strong brand makes the fuel, the performance spend, work much, much harder.
Perfectly put. So let's just summarize how this interaction works ideally.
Okay.
When you have a solid, trusted brand, any good performance ad gets a massive boost, right?
Because people already know you, maybe like you, trust you.
Yeah, that familiarity creates a sort of positive bias, makes people much more likely to click, and importantly, to convert.
Okay, now flip it. Same great ad, same amazing offer, but it's from Pay Now Credit, our unknown brand.
Even if the targeting is perfect, that lack of recognition, it creates friction, hesitation, maybe even suspicion.
So people might click, maybe out of curiosity.
But the chance of them actually following through, becoming a customer, it's significantly lower.
Which means wasted ad clicks, lower ROI.
All that stuff. And that's a really key insight for anyone listening. If your performance marketing isn't hitting the mark.
Don't just blame the ad creative or the targeting settings immediately.
Right. The problem might actually be a step further back. It could be a lack of brand awareness, a lack of trust.
So performance marketing amplifies what's already there.
Exactly. It needs a strong signal your brand to amplify effectively. It can't create that signal out of thin air.
Okay, so boiling it all down, the main takeaway is...
I think it's this. Performance marketing is often more visible, grabs the headlines with its metrics.
Yeah, the shiny object.
But branding is the foundational workhorse, often unseen, but absolutely essential for the long haul.
Performance grabs attention now. Branding builds trust over time.
Precisely. And trust.
Yeah.
Well, in today's world, with so much noise and so many choices, trust is everything, isn't it? It's fundamental to why people choose to buy from you over someone else.
Definitely. So a strategy that only chases those short-term performance metrics and forgets about building the brand.
It's short-sighted. You might get some quick wins, some initial spikes.
But you risk constantly just paying for attention rather than building real loyalty, a real connection.
Which gets very expensive and, frankly, unsustainable long-term.
So for real, sustainable growth,
Yeah.
you need both, working together.
Absolutely. You need a holistic approach, intentionally building the brand alongside your performance efforts. They're not separate silos.
They feed each other, a virtuous cycle.
That's the goal.
Right. So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, the core message really is about finding that balance, that strategic equilibrium.
Yeah. It's not either. It's both hand. Both are critical for effective growth.
So maybe a good moment for you listening to just, pause and reflect on your own efforts.
Are you really investing enough in building your brand? Or is the focus almost entirely on those immediate performance numbers?
Are you building that solid foundation we talked about? The one that lets your performance marketing truly shine?
Yeah, it really comes down to one final thought, maybe.
Go on.
Is your marketing strategy truly building a lasting asset for your business, a strong brand, or are you mostly just focused on grabbing those immediate, maybe fleeting gains?
That's definitely something we're thinking about seriously.